Well, Jaron Boots Ennis. He's been calling out everybody. He's been calling out big names. And the response he's been getting is, kid, you're not ready. Kid, you got to do more. Kid, you got to show us more. Especially big names like Terrence Crawford has been telling him so. And I agreed. But we're going to focus on tonight. And tonight, he answered the bell. He answered the bell, which is one of his longest layoffs in the sport of boxing. He was supposed to be fighting Cody Crawley, who was his number one mandatory contender for the belt. But David Evanesian came in last minute, on 4 weeks' notice, to step in for another title opportunity. And we all know Evanesian was knocked out by one of the biggest names in the business, and someone Jaron Boots Ennis has been vigorously calling out. Terrence Bud Crawford, knocking him out in the 5th round or 6th round. One of the two. I will double check that factoid. So we all know Boots Ennis was inspired to get him out even sooner. He can use that to his advantage to call him Bud out. So Boots looked great. Boots took care of business. I think the biggest problem with Jaron Boots Ennis, which all of us get pissed about, is his focus sometimes just seems like it isn't always there. Or sometimes his aggressiveness isn't always there. Sometimes he plays down to his opponent. Well, tonight, he was at home for the first time, sold out the arena, man. 10,000 large. Philly did come out strong. Shout out to Philly. And you can tell from the first freaking bell ring, he was like, I want to knock this dude out quicker than Bud Crawford did. And he came out with fire and vigor. And we all know he's known for his defensive prowess as well. He's a very good counterpuncher, but he can fight multiple styles. And tonight, people are going to say, oh, he got hit a little bit too much. The man was going for a knockout. He was going for the kill. You got to take a risk to do that. So Evanesian did get a couple shots on him, but let's be real. Boots was busting his ass the whole fucking fight. Like, we need to give credit when credit is due. I do not want to hear, oh, Boots got tagged a little bit against one of his hardest opponents. If you watch the fight and don't watch the highlights, watch the fight, which is a very entertaining performance. He stood in the pocket. He showed he was strong. He still dodged a lot of punches. He took a little, but it was to give a little. And he knocked that man out. Evanesian ended up not coming out for the 6th round. His corner called it off. They said that they think he broke his jaw. Now, of course, all boxing fans wants to actually see you get knocked out in the middle of the ring for the hype, for the excitement. But Boots was a job well done. Boots dominated from the first ring. He was just a better opponent, and he's putting his name on the map to get these big mega fights that he's been begging for. But he's still 27 years young. Like, you can't skip the steps, Boots. So I hope Boots, what I would like to see is him knock down this division. Maybe look to unify this division again, because that's what Terrence Bud Crawford did. And if he can do that, he can say, hey, come back down. Let's do it unify versus unify. Who's really the better fighter? So I think if he continues this trend, now that he's seen as a big class name after this big fight, keep fighting against these top opponents here in this division, and I think he might get that lucky twilight of his career Bud Crawford fight. If he keeps bringing, let's be real, Bud just wants to fight the biggest names in the business and make money right now. He's not worried about up and comers. This isn't about Bud. This is about Boots Ennis. But a lot of people slandered Bud's competition when he was in the 147 division. So, he's upset on that alone. So he's not going to go down and prove himself against somebody he doesn't think worthy. So what would we like to see from Boots Ennis? What did you think about this performance? I think it was impressive. I think it was electric. I think it was amazing. I think it's a 10 out of 10, if not a 9 out of 10. He took care of Evanesian. Now, yes, we have to say Evanesian did not get a full boot camp. He did not get a full fight camp to come into this fight. He did take the opportunity last minute. But we could also say Boots Ennis was rusty. He didn't fight for a long time. And he even said after the fight, he just didn't feel like himself. He felt rusty. He felt like his timing was off. So if this is fucking Boots rusty, whoo, whoo, we want to see him. We want to see him non-rusty, right? And he got the right promoter now. You know, let's be real. He's just a great promoter. A lot of people don't like him, you know, but he makes big fights happen. And that's what Boots needs right now. He needs to stay active. And he said after the fight as well, hey, we're going to keep Boots active. We would like to see him back in the ring in September or November. And he was talking the big shots. He was talking Barrios. He was talking about Stanionis. You know, he was talking big names. Big names, big things coming for Jaron Boots Ennis. So if I was him, I'd stop chasing the dragon. Stop chasing Terrence Bud Crawford. He's on to bigger and better things. He's on to the next weight class. He wants to unify a 4th division, which would very much so put him as one of the best of all time. He already is in that conversation, but that really would solidify him. I mean, if he unifies in the 4th division, we talking about him in Floyd status. But anyways, this isn't a Bud conversation. This is the Boots Ennis conversation. What would you guys like to see next? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see Boots pull up his boots and fight one of the biggest names in the division. We got the rankings right here. He's the number 1 in the division right now, but, you know, he only has 1 belt. Stanionis has a belt. Mario Barrios has a belt. And Brian Norman Jr., I believe, has an interim belt as well. Undefeated fighter. Now, let's be real. Brian Norman Jr. is a great prospect. He's coming up fast, and he's kind of in a position that Boots was just in. That he wants to call out big names, but he just hasn't made a name for himself yet. So I don't see Boots fighting him at all. But Mario Barrios is a great name. It's a big name. He's fought some big fights lately, and he's won the title. I believe he won it off of Ugas, and he's been getting some big fights. It's a big name. It's a worthy opponent. That fight can be very much so hyped up. He lost Tank when he was at a lower division, but he remade himself. He became a champion in another division, and he's a dog, man. I think that would be an amazing fight. Boots versus Mario Barrios. I think they can hype up that fight. I think they can sell out somewhere in Vegas with that fight. Stanionis, I think, is an amazing fight, man. But he's tough. He's tough. And for some reason, I don't think his name is as marketable as Mario Barrios. But that would be an amazing electric fight as well. 2 great attacking fighting styles. Number 1 versus number 2 in the division. You could argue that could be a super fight as well. Other than that, you know, we got Cody Crawley, who he was supposed to fight, who was his mandatory, but he keeps having this eye injury. I don't know, so let's scratch him out. It's funny. What I believe is going to happen, guys, call me crazy. Boots wants to be known. Boots wants to be on the map. Boots wants to be at Terrence Bud Crawford level. He wants to be at Ryan Garcia level. Haney. I know we're going to shit on Haney for what happened lately, but Haney's name is up there, and very much so. I mean, even if you say he lost to this one and that one, he did unify a couple divisions, right? Tank, Shakur. He wants his name to be as big as those guys, and even though I'm a boxing lover and fan, I think talent-wise, and to me, he's one of the big names, but to the general public, he's still on the rise. So who I honestly think he's going to fight is the guy who is number 7 in the division, Conor Benn. Why? Why do I think that? Obviously, we know who his promoter is. We do know where he's from, you know, over in the UK land. So I think that he very much so could appeal to Conor Benn. He can convince him to make that fight happen. 2, Conor Benn has the most Instagram followers out of all of them. And I know to fighters that shouldn't matter. And a lot of people might shit on me for saying that. But let's be real. That's what Boots wants. He wants the fame. He wants the notoriety. He wants to build his brand so he can call out the top dogs. So with Conor Benn being so famous, Conor Benn, is a good shit talker. It'll be a good fucking promotion. It'll be some good press conferences. And he's a top 10 fighter, so it's not like he's fighting a slouch. Avanesian was number 8, right? So it technically is a step up as well. Big name, big draw, and then you're also bringing in a whole other country into this. So you can promote it big in America, and you could promote it big over in Europe, which it makes it an even bigger draw, bigger fight, and makes his legend grow exponentially. So business-wise, I think it's a great decision. Money-wise, it shouldn't be bad either. And talent-wise, I think Boots knows that, or let me not say he knows. I think in Boots' heart, he thinks he's way better than Conor Benn, and he thinks that it should be an easier fight than Stanley Ioannis or Mario Barrios. So Boots versus Conor Benn is what I think will happen towards the end of this year in November. I think it will be a very much so hyped fight, and it'll put people on notice. Like a lot of boxing people will be forced to pay attention for the draw it'll bring in. I mean, look at today. This fight with Ennis, I don't think anybody thought it was knew it was on tonight. I would love to see what the pay-per-view numbers was. I mean, he did sell out the arena, so shout out to him, bringing it to his community and the community coming out to support. But I even had to double check, scratch my head, like, damn, is that fight tonight? I feel like I'm missing a big fight. I try to watch every fight that's worthy of watching, especially the big ones, the competitive ones. And when you have a Boots Ennis, that should be an automatic, I have to watch this. And me being that person almost missed the fight. So I don't think it was hyped up enough. I don't think it was marketed enough. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all can shit on me for saying that. But usually, ESPN and the Zone, Matchroom, the guys who put on the event, you see a lot more posts. And I just feel like this one wasn't really hyped up. So maybe that name, Conor Benn, would hype it up. He has a great highlight reel, so it'll be easy to market him. But at the end of the day, my grading for this performance is an A-. The only thing that could have been better is if he was able to knock out Avanesian in the ring and let it be a highlight reel that can be played over and over and over again for the world to see tonight. But him just pretty much saying no mas, that doesn't really bring the draw as he would have loved to have. So Boots Ennis, amazing fight tonight. Destroyed Avanesian. His name is on the rise. He's the #1 fighter in 147. And I think he's going to continue to prove himself and start to fight more frequently while fighting again this year and 2 times again next year. I see him fighting Conor Benn next. Maybe Barrios after that. And then he'll be on track to get some big names like he's Bud Crawford hunting. Maybe he can, after those 2 big wins, he can convince Earl Spence Jr. to come back down and try to get one of his titles back. I think he's on the right track, and big fights and big moments are on the arise very soon. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think about Mr. Boots Ennis' performance tonight. Am I tripping? Do I think my A- is too high? Do you think these opponents I'm talking about just ain't going to happen? What do you got for me? My name is Marvin Allen Cox, also known as the Max Sports Attack. Bow! I'm out.